Hello, I am Carson Robichaud, coming to you live from TCQ News Studios. Welcome. I will be your anchor for today's show. We have a very special show for you today. We will be looking at the conflicts of today and yesterday, along with the religious update of the week and current events happening now. All this will be going along with a sports update, daily joke, and a very special segment of Today in Africa. Let's start off with some current events that are currently happening in Africa. On Saturday, January 24th, 2015, a woman protested to commemorate the revolution on Cairo's Tahrir Square. She was dead. Police claimed they only used tear gas to deter the protester, but some witnesses say that they shot and killed the woman. She was not the only one who was killed that weekend. At least 15 others were killed while protesting. They were not all in the same protest. There are some people who might say monarchs are unneeded. With all of the technology today, we might be looking at the last monarchs in Africa. South Africa is building a non-profit base in Cape Town to send a probe to the moon. There are still questions for the program. For example, should it orbit the moon, or should it take the shape of a vehicle that can land on the surface and take samples? South Africa is hoping to finish this within a decade. Now on to Colin with a sports update.
Hi, I'm Colin Schmitz, reporting to you on the latest update on the African Cup of Nations. The competition has been extremely heated, as many different teams compete for a spot in the finals. So far, we know that Congo and the Democratic Republic of Congo will be competing against the winner of the Ivory Coast-Algeria game. Ghana and Guinea will also be competing for the other semifinal game against the winner of the Tunisia and Equatorial Guinea game. The winners of the semifinals will go on to play each other in the championship. Good luck to all the competing teams, and now back to you, Carson.
Thanks, Colin. Now to Camden with news of conflicts and wars.
Thank you, Carson. Now, Africa has had its share of conflicts in its day. I'm going to talk about two of its most recent conflicts. First up is the crisis in Libya. Due to unrest in northern Africa and the Middle East, pro-democracy demonstrations have sprung up all over the country of Libya. Citizens are protesting and want the regime of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi to end. Since his coup 40 years ago, Gaddafi's rule has been oppressive, banning the forming of other political parties and committing state-sponsored terrorism in the past. Gaddafi has been threatening civilian lives if needed in response to the initially peaceful 2011 uprising. There may be reasons for humanitarian intervention in Libya, but for now its future is uncertain. Next up, it's history time. Apartheid in South Africa was adopted by South Africa in 1948 by the white government. It was in favor of Afrikaners, and racist laws had started even before apartheid was in place. The 1913 Land Act was passed only years after South Africa's independence and forced blacks to live on reserves and prohibited them from being sharecroppers. The white government separated tribes after apartheid passed to decrease their political power. More acts kept limiting blacks and other ethnic groups' power. Opposition took many forms, such as nonviolent protests, strikes, political action, and eventually to armed resistance. After many years, an embargo of weapons to South Africa by the UN in 1976 and sanctions by the US and UK in 1985 caused the white government to become unstable. In 1989, F.W. de Klerk was elected president and repealed the laws that formed apartheid. A new constitution granted blacks and other racial groups citizenship was formed in 1994. Elections that year led to a coalition government with a non-white majority. That was the end of apartheid in South Africa. My name is Camden Sutherland with TC Cube News. Now back to you, Carson.
Thank you, Camden. Now to Trayley, Camden, and Colin for the Daily Joke.
Oh, well, we've been having really
Hey,
nice
you
weather.
guys ready to do the daily joke?
Yeah.
Alright. What did the lion say to the baboon?
I don't know. What
I
did he
have
say?
no idea.
Thanks for the lift.
Oh, that's
I
hilarious.
told you. Alright, now back to Carson in the studio.
That was a knee slapper. Oh, now to Trayley with the religious update.
Hi, I am Trayley Gorndorf reporting to you about the latest religion update in Africa. According to recent statistics from our experts at wolframalpha.com, it has been found that the more eastern and northern parts of Africa are prominently made up of people that worship Islam. For example, Somalia in the east has a percentage of 98% Muslim people compared to its 1.3% who are Christians. In Libya, in the north, 96% worship Islam, while only 2.9% worship Christianity. It is also found that the more western and southern countries in Africa worship mostly Christianity. For instance, Cameroon in the west is 56% Christian and only 20% Muslim. South Africa in the south is 82% Christian and only 2.4% Muslim. That was your latest religion update in Africa, and I am Trayley Orndorff. Now back to you, Carson.
Thank you, Trayley. Now to Colin with a special interview with Desmond Tutu.
Hello, I'm Colin Schmitz. Welcome to Today in Africa. Today I am interviewing Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Hello, Mr. Tutu.
Hello, Mr. Schmitz. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. We are honored to have you here today. I know you're a busy man.
Not busy enough to miss a great opportunity like this.
Thank you. Would you mind if I start asking you questions?
Not at all, Mr. Schmitz.
Okay, I'm sure all our viewers are excited to know all about you. Let's get started. When were you born?
I was born on October 7th, 1931 in Klerksdorp, Transvaal, South Africa.
If you were a child, and I asked you what you wanted to be when you grew up, what would you say?
I would say I'd want to be a doctor. However, my family could not afford the training necessary, so I then decided to follow my father's footsteps and go into teaching profession. I studied at the Pretoria Bantu Normal College from 1951 to 1953, and then went on to teach at the Johannesburg Bantu High School at the Muinsville High School in Mobile City. I resigned following the passage of the Bantu Education Act in protest of the poor educational prospects for Black South Africans.
Wow, that is truly amazing.
Thank you. It means a lot to me that you would say that.
How was your life as a bishop?
It was an extraordinary experience to have done with what I did. I was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize in 16 October 1984 for resolving and ending apartheid in South Africa.
That's extraordinary.
Thank you.
I'm truly sorry, but we are running low on time. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
All right then, back to Carson. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Now this was certainly a fun show. I hope all of you watching had a fun time too. Join us next week as we look at news all around Africa on TC Cube News. I am Carson Robichaud, signing off, and for all of us here at TC Cube News, we wish you a happy and productive week.